Hi, I'm Maggie Way and I'm a romance author, and today I wanted to do a quick Q&A video to answer the questions that you, my readers, have given me. So firstly, thank you so much for all your questions. I haven't done one of these before, so I do apologize if I come across a little rambly or go off tangent, but without further ado, I'll just go through the questions and answer them one by one. Yeah. Question number 1 comes from Jamie, and she's asked, what books do I currently have out? At the moment, I have one complete series, and that is the Entangle Me novella series, which is 7 novellas. Each book is set in a different destination international, and the basic premise is destination weddings with a whole lot of romance, humor, and emotions. So we've got a very sassy female protagonist in Lacey Ryan, and she has a bit of an interesting night the night before she's supposed to get married, but I don't want to go into any spoilers, but the premise of Entangle Me is a lot of fun. She gets to travel all around the world and plan one wedding at a time, all the whilst bringing her fabulous best friend Gabe with her, and she gets to experience a lot of romance. So this was a very, very fun series for me to write. Definitely a little bit more towards the lighter side, but it does get, obviously emotional, and there's a lot of heart in it as well. So that's pretty much the premise of the current books I have out now, and I'll talk about what my next plans for writing are. Yep. Question number 2 comes from Patricia, and she's asked, why did I pick romance as a genre? This is really simple for me to answer. Basically, the reason why I love to read romance is the reason why I love to write it. I've been reading romance since I was 13 years old, so in many ways, it's a very natural love for me, and I really much picked romance because I want to do it justice. Having read so many books over my life, I naturally had a lot of storylines that got clogged up in my brain that I wanted to put to paper. I know that romance gets a lot of flack for being cheesy or corny or cliched, but no, I really never get sick of when the two leads first meet, or their first kiss, their first fight, anything really. So and that kind of magic is just something that I just love putting to paper myself. Not to mention the fact that romance to me is a very character-driven genre compared to others, and I think that's what makes it so special. So yeah, it was a very natural fit for me to take, actually. Question number 3 comes from Pav, and she's asked, being in Australia, how does that affect your writing, and how does it make you stand out from other authors? So this one's a little bit more tough to answer because I think there are some intentional and unintentional effects of being Australian. So the firstly is definitely the geographical influence. For example, in Entangle Me, Sydney, I've got a lot of reference to the city itself, to my beautiful homeland, and throughout the Entangle Me novella series, there are references to Australia as well, so there's that. And then there are the unintentional ones, which because I actually love to write about non-Australian characters as well as a way of research, I do find that naturally a lot of my times my dialogue or my own slang that I know from being Australia does creep in there. So I would say that in a lot of ways it does make my stories unique because I do incorporate a lot of my own sayings in there. But then, of course, I do have to flesh it back and then take it down because my editor will tell me that is not something a non-Australian would say. So yes, I'd say it definitely gives it an edge, that's for sure. From Ferris, and she's asked, what made you finally decide to publish a book, and is it everything you hoped for or no? So with the decision to actually publish a book, I think it really just came from the fact that I had been writing for a good year or so. I was just really enjoying just writing a story, putting it together. And then the decision was because I just had a complete story, and I was really close to completing it, and I thought I really want to actually share this with the world. I'm just going to see how it goes, and honestly, it's the best decision I've ever made. So in many ways, it is everything I hoped for because, now to get to, even this point is pretty amazing. In a lot of ways, it's definitely been very eye-opening just how big this industry is. So I've still got a long way to go. So yeah, I've definitely got lots to learn, but I'm enjoying the ride, so it's great. 5 comes from Kristen, and she's asked, have you been to all the places you sent Lacey, or were they products of careful research? Okay, so I love to travel, and I'm always looking to travel somewhere new and exotic every time I hop on that plane. So I'm proud to say that the places I have sent Lacey, I have been to myself for most of the books. So books 1 to 5, the places I have been to. So Sydney, obviously discredit that. But Amalfi Coast, Bangkok, Paris, and Tokyo I have been to. Absolutely amazing places. So I would, gladly go back to there in a heartbeat, especially Tokyo. But unfortunately, I haven't been to the places for book 6 and 7, and that's Las Vegas and London. So definitely on my bucket list. Yep. And so they were very fun to research. So yeah, it was a good excuse. Comes from Chananya, and she's asked, what advice do you have for someone aspiring to write? And she's actually asking for herself. So Chananya and anyone else looking to write, I would say the best advice I have is, if you want to write, do it today. Just honestly do whatever it takes to plan that story, or even if you want to write 500 words, I would do it as soon as you can, because I think the sooner you write, the sooner you really get into that mentality of wanting to write, and then loving to write, and then itching to write. So I'd say the more you write, the more you can really get into the realms of what it's like to be a writer. And then once you start that, just keep writing until you finish the story. Yeah, and then the rest will absolutely follow. I honestly and sincerely mean that. Question is number 7, and Andrea has asked, what are you currently working on? So I'm currently working on a full-length romance series, and that current tentative title is A Heart of Thorn. Originally it was Winter's Thorn, so I'm still kind of tossing up this the titles there at the moment. But even though Entangle Me is a bit more lighthearted and funny, Heart of Thorn is definitely a lot more dramatic and heart-wrenching. Not to say that it's not funny or overly somber. I just say it definitely has a lot of elements of my humor in there, but it's definitely a lot more emotional. That's definitely a direction that I'm wanting to take, actually, as a writer. In many ways, Entangle Me was actually a really easy, quick write, and Heart of Thorn took a bit longer because it was a lot more challenging, yes. I would say the easiest way to describe Heart of Thorn is it's a mix between The Notebook and 50 Shades, probably because in a way those two books have obviously landmarks in romance, but obviously it's influenced me because I've quite enjoyed them separately. Without giving too much away, that's probably the easiest way I would describe it right now. You've got obviously the mix of real gut-wrenching romance with the steamy element, and hopefully I'll do it justice and you guys will enjoy it. But more details to come, and watch the space.